Hi, this is Greg Braden.
Jack Canfield.
Marianne Williamson.
James Van Prague.
Hi, everyone. This is Neil Donald Walsh, and I'm happy to tell you that you're listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Stick around. Your life could change any minute.
Your life could change at any minute. Welcome. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman on KXFM. Broadcast from Laguna Beach, California, for Laguna Beach, California, and for the world. All right, y'all, you know the gig. Sex, relationships, dream interpretation, personal growth. We talk about it all. We don't tell you what to do, and we don't tell you how to do it. And there's a very, very good reason for that. It's not our lives. It's your life. This evening, we are hanging out with Paul David, and Dave Schrader is joining us. Paul, instead of me introing Dave, why don't you tell us a little about who he is and what inspired you to have him as the keynote speaker for your Be the Light event this weekend?
Absolutely. Well, Dave Schrader is well known here in the Twin Cities. He's a renowned author and a paranormal investigator and a host of a local show here on WCCO radio called The Paranormal 360. And I had heard of him through, we had mentioned Echo Bodine earlier. And when I was planning this Be the Light Expo, we're in October, and in October, we're thinking Halloween. People are more open to exploring ideas of the paranormal and ghosts and things. And I have been fascinated by ghosts for so long. And to have someone come on board who can explore that and explain that and talk about that just seemed like the perfect fit for this wonderful October afternoon. And so I reached out to Dave, and he was gracious enough to say yes. And we are thrilled to have him joining us this Saturday.
Dave, welcome to Inner Journey.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Now, you've done public speaking forever. You've been an author. You've been a speaker. You have your own program. How do you choose what to speak about, and what are you going to speak about this Saturday at the Be the Light event?
Well, having been actively into this field now for 18 years, I lived a life surrounded with supernatural and paranormal experiences. But I really kind of dug deep into it about 18 years ago when I began doing my radio show. And it's just been a really cool journey, getting a chance to talk to people from around the world, hearing different theories and belief systems. And what I'd like to bring this weekend, actually, is kind of lessons I've learned from the dead, from all of the communication I've had with ghosts. And, it's interesting, some of the points that have been made to me throughout the years regarding, fear, the concepts of what it is we're doing and how important the words that we choose to use are, not just for us, but for those we love that have departed.
Now, you said lessons from the dead, and I find that fascinating because I've seen some very powerful medicine men actually sit and have conversations with elders that have passed away. How do you communicate with them, and then how do you translate that so other people can benefit from them as well?
Well, I've got a really powerful Dyson vacuum, so I suck the ghost into the vacuum. I shove them in a jar, and I make them tell me all their secrets before I release them.
That's two Ghostbusters. Try it again, will you?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. I was going more for Aladdin, but Ghostbusters works too.
All right.
I was lucky enough to have strange experiences throughout my life. I was never closed down to it. I didn't have a family that was telling me it doesn't exist. I didn't have friends that were around me telling me it's not real. And that allowed me to just continue to flourish and kind of experience things in a different way without walking in a place of fear, without walking in a place of expectations of the bad. So I think I've been extremely lucky. I was on about a dozen episodes of the TV show Ghost Adventures. I got to do a mini-series called Paranormal Challenge that really had us kind of re-examining the way that we investigate haunted locations. understanding the history, the spirit story. And then I was the lead investigator for 2 seasons on the Holzer Files, which was a paranormal TV series on Travel Channel, and then on the Ghosts of Devil's Perch. So being paired up with mediums throughout my life, Chris Fleming, Michael and Marty Perry, Cindy Keza, Sarah Lemos, they've really given me some unique perspectives in the way that we communicate with the other side and how to actually learn to listen.
And how do you?
And then for me, it's taking the time. You know, a lot of people jump to the conclusion that something is dark or something is evil because it unnerves them. And, you know, you find that everybody has a different level of what fear is, right? To you, fear could be that you and I are sitting there and suddenly your hair starts to raise as though somebody's gently lifting it. And that could be terrifying to you. To me, at this point in my game, I really need like a flaming head to come flying down the hall, screaming that it's going to eat my soul. Otherwise, I feel like I would just be, oh, okay, what next? You know, looking for that next evolution of what the spirit is trying to convey to me. And I've really tried to walk the walk with people in helping to bring them off of the ledge of fear-based thoughts and concepts and misunderstandings, which I think, listen, that translates really well into what we're dealing with on the planet right now. There's a lot of misunderstandings, and people don't take time to listen. People don't take time to communicate with one another. They're all about quick sound bites, and they're all about what can I do to make myself feel more comfortable or happy in the moment. And we really do need to get back to that understanding that the world around us is a bigger place because we're in it, but we can make it an even bigger place by showing passion and empathy and love for the living and the dead.
Dave, I agree 1,000%. However, I'm still not quite grasping how you get to the place where you can tune into what's your process. How do you get to the place where you could hear the dead or understand the dead or communicate and take the lessons back with you? What does that look like in application?
I am not a medium, so I don't have the ability to tune in and hear the dead like somebody that's clairvoyant. What I learn is through the investigations I've done, the tools that I've used, and the words that have been spoken to me through these different, spirit boxes, audio recorders. And in a lot of instances, it's taking the time to, for a perfect example, when we were filming on the TV show The Holzer Files, we were in San Diego at the Whaley House, which is one of the most haunted places in America, and rightfully so. Dr. Hans Holzer kind of gave it that stamp of approval, and it's lived up to that for the last 50 to 60 years. And while we were there, we uncovered an interesting aspect of the ghost story, and it agitated the spirit we were calling on, and it did something that I had no real concept or belief in. When you watch a lot of the paranormal TV shows, somebody's touched or physically moved by a spirit, and I've often thought maybe this is kind of an overreaction until something hit me so hard it knocked me to the ground.
Literally or figuratively?
No, both, literally and figuratively. It happens, and in the episode, you see when I turn around, I get this perplexed look on my face because my brain could not conceive of what just hit me. It hit so hard, it was like a linebacker lifting me up into somebody. Shane was standing next to me, my partner in investigations on the Holzer Files. And I hit him, he hit the wall, and then I hit the floor. And when I turned around, I was half expecting to see a cameraman that had tripped over the carpet and fallen into me or something that would have that kind of weight to it. And instead, there was nothing there. There was nothing. And I suddenly realized the real ability and power of the other side when they have something to convey. Now, maybe I'm lucky because to some people, they would run out screaming. I'm a father, and I've got 11 kids. So I've been yelled at, knocked down, talked back to. I've had every kind of possible reaction from children you could have throughout your life. So instead of leaving and running out terrified, I realized that the spirit we were engaging with had really been left unsupervised for way too long. And he had been this kind of rabble rouser for his people. He was a Mexican, they refer to him as kind of a bandit. What he was they were freedom fighters. They would come back into America, to the San Diego area. They'd come back in to try to reclaim the area that had been stolen and taken from them. And they were the heroes of their own story. They were doing something as an uprising to try to make a difference and help their people regain their land. And they were met with murder. This man, Juan Verdugo, I believe, he had to dig his own grave and then stand in front of the grave as 3 men shot him to death. And when we called out the spirit, it was because Violet Whaley had committed suicide, a shot to herself to take herself out. And I asked the question, I said, did you have a hand in Violet's death? Wondering, had he pushed her to that, because her father was one of the men that shot him. And when I challenged him that way, that's when I got knocked down to the ground. And after I had a chance to collect myself, I went back in and I just said, Juan, I understand you're upset. I understand that people have twisted your history and your story for very long, but I'm not going to run away. You're not going to bully me out of here. So what can we do to make sure that this stops, this kind of aggression? And basically what it came down to was remembering and telling the story the right way, giving history the push it needs to recall the stories the way that they actually happened, not the way that the winner perceives them to be.
Dave?
And once we kind of got that story out, it changed the atmosphere of what was going on at the Whaley House.
I love this, and I have a feeling that you and I could talk stories for hours and hours. Unfortunately, this is a 2-hour show, and we're on the tail end of the second hour. I got to tell you, this is all the more reason for y'all to go to the Be the Light Expo on this Saturday, October 12th. And how do they go about doing that, Paul?
Well, first of all, if you're going to get tickets, you can go to Eventbrite and search for Be the Light Expo. You'll also find that on Facebook. You can get tickets. You can also purchase tickets at the door. It's at Studio Timeout, which is 6001 Lindale Avenue South in South Minneapolis. For those of you local, right across from Bachman's, there's parking on the street, also in the lot. It's going to be an amazing event, and just hearing Dave talk, I am jazzed, beyond jazzed, for what this event is going to be. It's going to be an amazing day of healing and stories and such cool things.
Dave, I am really excited about you speaking at this event, and I'm grateful that you took the time to speak with us this evening on Inner Journey.
It's been an honor. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to meeting everybody this Saturday.
Have a great evening, Dave. Thank you.
You too.